Great to see you after the great sledding incident of 2025.
I don't know.
You're a battler.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're a warrior. It'll probably be on top plays. Hey, both teams have already recorded their first touchdown in New Orleans. Super Bowl 6 days away. That touchdown and that they both landed. May the festivities now commence. Super Bowl opening night, a.k.a. Media Day, is today. Jalen Hurts, separate planes for both the Chiefs and the Birds. Eagles up first tonight. Chiefs will soon then follow. Not either team's first rodeo. Randy, quick to point out, this is not a rodeo. It's actually a football game.
It's a football game.
NFL insider Dan Graziano joining the program. Dan, good morning. Good to see you. KC, they're at full strength. Eagles hoping to get closer with defensive captain Brandon Graham on the mend from a torn triceps. What is his status less than a week out here?
Yeah, they're optimistic that he might be able to play at least a little bit in the Super Bowl, which doesn't sound like much, but considering that man tore his triceps in Week 12 and was thought to be out for the season, it is a little bit of a hopeful prognosis. He was able to get into some team drills in practice on Saturday before the team left for New Orleans. So that was a step up. Had only been doing individual drills the 2 days before. So the Eagles are going to take it all the way through this week, see what he can handle in practice once they get back on the practice field down there in New Orleans, and see if there's any way he can contribute. It's far from decided, but Brandon Graham is hopeful and optimistic, and the Eagles have a little bit of hope and optimism that one of the great players in franchise history will be able to join them for the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Certainly. Graham, 6 days out from the Super Bowl, has not played.
Coach Herm Edwards with us throughout the hour on SportsCenter in this Kansas City quest for a three-peat. A well-traveled, well-heeled storyline here. What's an under-the-radar storyline for Super Bowl 59?
Well, both these teams are really big on converting fourth downs. So you got to play all downs when you play against these two football teams. Philadelphia Eagles are around 73%. They're third in the league. Kansas City Chiefs are converting about 70%, which is fourth in the league. So fourth down all of a sudden becomes a big issue when you're defensively. I think we know about the tush-push. But beside that, you have to be alert. These guys are four-down teams, so you got to play every down.
The stress that puts on a defense is what? Like if you're in the huddle, back when you're playing.
Well, yeah, because now all of a sudden they continue to have the ball. I mean, it steals possessions. It keeps the defense on the field.
Yeah, it probably tires you out there on that track. It's going to be humid in that dome. Eagles' offensive line, massive reason why Philly is so effective on fourth down, to your point. Is that O-line and Saquon simply going to be too much for the Chiefs to contend with over 60 minutes, or as we saw last year, maybe beyond 60 minutes? Well,
it's going to be critical that the Chiefs do something on first down, because you just mentioned the Philadelphia Eagles have the best offensive line in the National Football League, and they create separation from when the ball's hiked to where the runner's at. The problem is Saquon generally gets the ball, he's 2 yards up the field before you even touch him. That's a problem. That's a big problem. So I think this offensive line is big and powerful. Steve Spagnuolo is going to try to find a way to make sure that Saquon doesn't hit those A gaps and B gaps. Make him bounce outside where your linebackers Tranquil and Bolton can make tackles, because if he can hit the line of scrimmage going straight, you got problems.
5 touchdowns, 3 postseason games so far for Saquon. That's Herm Edwards on SportsCenter.
By the way, these two gentlemen, no stranger to playing in the largest stage across the NFL. It's our coach, Herm Edwards. Damien Woody joining the program. D-Dub, I want to start with you. What's this week like leading up to the biggest game of your life? You played in the Super Bowl in your second season there in New England?
Yeah, man, now we get down to what's really important. Last week was all about getting your family and everybody situated. Now we get to, game week. And this week is, you're just locked in. You want to treat it like any other game week. You don't want to get lost in any distractions. New Orleans is a great city to host events in, but that's not the focus. The focus in locking in on all the details, the preparation, and so you can go out there and play your best football and become part of an elite fraternity of guys who've won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Damien makes a great point, but I will say this. The good thing for both these teams, they've actually been there before.
Sure.
When it's your first time, like Damien said, there's a lot of anxiety, man. I mean, how you allocate your time, I think, is very, very important in a game like this.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that it's different. When at the end of the day, when you get off that plane and you walk and get on that bus,
sure,
it hits you This is the Super Bowl.
Like, season's over after this.
This ain't the Pro Bowl.
Come on.
This is not the championship game. This is the Super Bowl. and there's a lot that goes on now.
Yeah.
I think both these teams are well aware of all the activities and all the stuff that kind of can bother you and bog you down. That's a good thing. So that helps both these teams.
Like the primetime event that is tonight, which is Media Day, which has become literally a primetime event. You can buy tickets to watch these teams answer questions. All right, both of these quarterbacks, so much at stake on Sunday. D-Dub, which quarterback are you most excited to watch and why?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts. But, you know, we know about Saquon and the terrific year that he had and all that. But I'm going with Jalen Hurts because I want to see how Jalen Hurts, you know, matches up against defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, who, in my opinion, he's a Hall of Fame, you know, assistant. Some of his legendary game plans that we've seen from him in the postseason. I want to see how Jalen Hurts react because we know at some point, you know, in this game, they're going to need Jalen Hurts in this game because you're not going to be able to hold Patrick Mahomes and company down from that Philadelphia Eagles perspective. You're going to need Jalen Hurts in that passing game to really get going, and what better challenge than going up against a Steve Spagnuolo defense?
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes in this sense. This is the number one defense in the National Football League. All right, now, this team is really good up front with their D-line. How does he handle the pressure of 4 linemen coming? They don't need to rush 5. They've got a pretty good secondary as well. They take the ball away. This is one of those games where Patrick Mahomes knows that I'm playing a team right now when they've entered the playoffs with 10 takeaways. 10. That's a big number. And he understands I'm playing a D-line that can rush 4 guys and can make me uncomfortable in the pocket. I want to see how he handles that.
Patrick Mahomes obviously trying to get to his 4th Super Bowl championship, which would break that halfway threshold to getting to the all-time leader in Super Bowl wins at quarterback in Tom Brady. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts had 4 touchdowns in his last Super Bowl. Take the points. Damien Woody, much appreciated. Coach, you're sticking around for some top plays.
Yeah, top play.
He usually delegates the responsibility of spiking the touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, we'll see. Now to the worst celebration. What about Kyle Juszczyk jumping into the phone pit and going cleats to chest of, you know, just the best wide receiver in the NFC? Yeah, Jay Jetta would be fine. Youth is wasted on the young. Now we got tug of war, just a little tug, or a big tug if you're the AFC. Actually, the NFC pulls the AFC into the pit. Eli Manning's strong. What he's using is that lower base, all right? Squats, hang cleans, pushes his older brother, and that could be elder abuse.
No, for sure.
What about the great football race? Micah Parsons, Patrick Queen, first leg, although they used both of their legs in this. Ran through some tires, put the big heads on, and then just ran through what I'm assuming is half-inch plaster. I don't know. And then the AFC's Ross Matisek, he regains the lead on the long snap here. Final leg, Eric McCoy pushing the sled with Eli on it. You see Eli getting low, leading with the trunk. And then a new position challenge, Baker Mayfield at center.
Baker's going to get humbled right here and realize how hard it is to just throw a ball back there. He can't look. He's looking.
And you might be thinking, well, C.J. Stroud, what do you mean new position? No, that's Jackson Smith and Jigba, wide receiver, getting picked off by Minkah Fitzpatrick after the pick 6. Smith and Jigba, I have officially retired from trying to play quarterback. Eli gets the Gatorade shower. He is 3-0 all time against